Hi everyone and welcome to mission 12 of my DMC4 Special Edition Dante Must Die S rank walkthrough. Trish, guys! Time for Trish! We are playing finally with Trish, so some things are going to change. What you're going to notice immediately when you play with Trish is that you're going to be doing less damage than with Lady. That's a fact. I think Trish is the character with less damage output in the entire game, talking about DMC4 Special Edition, and your life and gameplay with Trish is going to be these attacks that I'm doing here. Usually the crowd control attack is the round trip, the sword throw, the thing that's happening right now, and from there you can do some other attacks. You can do that attack that is just pressing triangle, throwing the sword, pressing triangle a couple of times to attack normally, and then she'll do the spin kick with lightning. That's really damaging and for crowd control, but take heed, some enemies will not be stunned by that attack. So for the enemies that don't get stunned by that, we're going to use other attacks. The other attacks are always mostly reliant on round trip. They are called Collider. This is not the attack, by the way. This is just a combo with triangle. You can charge the Blade of Sparta and just throw it. I don't think I hit a single Mega Scarecrow there, but whatever. Just throw the sword. You can do this one. This is the one that I mentioned before. Or you can do Collider. Collider is R1 forward and triangle. You can do that in Inazuma. Inazuma is the lightning that you left in the air. As you can see that. Inazuma does is really damaging, especially if you double trigger, because the double trigger for Trish works in a way that adds lightning damage to all your attacks. That's Collider. That punch forward, you have to throw you have to do the round trip. See? No, this is not the round trip. You have to throw the sword and do round trip, and then do Inazuma. I mean, no, then do Collider. Sorry, the punch forward. And something even more powerful than the punch forward. If you have a lot of enemies, see how they get trapped with Inazuma there. Throw round trip and do that. That is called the Thunder Blow, and that's R1 back in the stick and triangle. So Collider is forward R1 and triangle, and Thunder Blow is back R1 and triangle. That's what you're going to be doing most of the time, because that does the Thunder Blow especially has an area of damage that just strikes all the foes that are around you. So that's mainly what you want to be doing. Now if you have a single enemy or a powerful single enemy and you want to do Collider, the punch, the lightning punch, you can do that, but I will prefer to actually do a mix of both. But as you can see, now we are going to fight some Frosts, and the Frosts don't actually get stunned by the attack when she kicks, when she do her moves with the legs, with lightning. She attacks with her legs. So, and they don't really get stunned by the round trip either. See, they have a really hard time getting stunned. So you have to be careful with the Frosts. Just throw the round trip and do Collider or Thunder Blow. If you can get the Thunder Blow to crash around 2 enemies, or 3 or 4 or whatever, that's really preferable, because it's going to hit them all. But if you have only one, you can do the Collider, the punch. So later on in this episode, I think it's this episode or the next one. No, this episode we're going to fight Mephistos too. And for the Mephistos, there is only one strategy possible with Trish. You can actually use the pistols. Actually use? No, you have to use the pistols. They are just named handguns. They don't have a really cool name. some reason, and just fire the pistols and try to pacify them with the camera. And if you double trigger with the pistols, like double trigger, you will add lightning damage to the bullets, and that's really going to decloak them really fast, the Mephistos and the Fausts. So that's a really interesting way to kill Mephistos and Fausts. That's really fast, and when they are decloaked, just try to throw the round trip at them and do Collider or Thunderblow to kill them as fast as you can, because they are really dangerous. And seeing that Trish is the one that does the less amount of damage output of all the characters in this special edition, you have to take advantages when they come. So now you can see me fighting Mephistos. That timer that you can see there is not going to run out. I never had an instance where the timer run out. I usually get killed by some enemy, or I get killed by the fucking lasers that are going to come in the next room. Yeah, we got the lasers again, guys. So I just hate levels when I have to dodge lasers that at this point I think they will kill me with the health that I have. So just kill the Mephistos, manipulate the camera as much as you can. Remember that Trish is not really that strong. She has strong attacks, but she's not really strong herself. She doesn't have that many weapons and maneuvers that Dante has, because supposedly you will be using Dante right now in this part of the story. We are not going to be fighting bosses in this chapter, but in the next chapter we're going to fight Echidna, and I'm going to be using the Proto-Cannon. I'm going to be using Pandora, and I guess I could explain Pandora's uses in bosses at the next chapter. Yeah, I'm just not going to explain it right now. So keep using their pistols. I'm not really fond of using Devil Trigger for normal enemies, but you're going to see me use it sometimes. This guy is still not dead. By the way, round trip doesn't last forever. You're going to see the real... did you see the circle that kind of diminishes when you threw the sword? Well, that's actually when the... see? And it goes down. That's when the sword is going to come back. But you can actually make it come back by pressing circle, like I just did right there. So Pandora is... I guess I could talk a little about Pandora. Pandora, you actually have Pandora with Trish. And you have two attacks that are both a single missile and 3 missiles. That they're activated by pressing square, forward, and R1, or backward, forward, and backward, square, and R1. And to release the hyper beam, I think it's called hyper beam, or am I mistakenly naming it after Dante? Well, the huge beam that she shots that actually depletes your Devil Trigger, and take notice in that that attack will deplete the Devil Trigger. That's what mainly you should be using, that mainly to damage the bosses, because you simply don't have other attack that's really is that damaging. It's just simple as that. So now we have Somalto and Bianco Angelos. We don't have the really damaging shotgun that we had with Lady, so we have to like use the environment and try to separate them as hard as possible, and just again get them to get on the ground. I'm activating Devil Trigger. See, I'm going to do a lot of more damage now. Oh, that was really beautiful. That's the end of her kick attack, when she just jumps in the air. You can actually maneuver her when she's throwing the kicks around to hit more enemies. So that's really cool. What you mostly want to do is this: just throw the round trip. The round trip will stun the majority of the enemies. So with the round trip activated and the enemy stunned, do the Collider, as I mentioned before. I can't say that enough. Do the Collider or the Thunder Blow or this attack. If they get stunned. If they don't get stunned, don't do that. Just do the Collider or the Thunder Blow. So here we go. I just tried to do the thunder blow there, but just sometimes it just doesn't happen, guys. The stick fucks you up. That's the reality of it. Sometimes the stick just fucks your attacks. Try to do Inazuma as much as you can. That lightning in the air is called Inazuma. Try to do it as much as you can. If you have a barrage of enemies that you have time to jump and press triangle, she's going to land with Inazuma. You can do 2 Inazumas at the same time. So having Inazumas constantly damaging your enemies and bosses at the same time that you're throwing round trip and using combos like Collider and Thunder Blow or the kicks, that's really damaging. That's really high damage. It's fast damage. It's not that hard. It doesn't hit that hard, but it hits really fast. So yeah, I guess we are done with part 12, guys. I wanted to explain what I was going to do with Trish for all the missions that we had her, and in the next level we will be fighting a boss and I will be explaining how did I defeat her. So thank you guys for watching and take care.